Our next speaker is the head of strategic alliances at FIA. He's responsible for developing the FIA fundraising activities, in particular in its road safety actions, as well as for setting up projects on the FIA mobility pillar, in particular for the new Formula E race series. Before that, he joined the World Health Organization, where he was in charge of developing an innovative fundraising mechanism. We are proud to welcome this digital leader here in Luxembourg in a conversation with Mr. Monty Metzger.
I think we all here in the audience can do something about it. I mean, the attention has been raised with this project, and now it's up to all of us actually to make change happen. And I believe the quickest change can be achieved by startups in the startup ecosystem and entrepreneurs. They really drive change. So maybe before we dive into the Formula E, can you tell us a little bit about the Road Safety Initiative and what it's all about and what's the role of the FIA?
So basically, maybe a few words at the beginning regarding the FIA and its two different roles, two different heads. So the FIA is the governing body of motorsport at first, and then because of some inclusion of external activities, so we also have developed what we call mobility, which is, thank you, which is the association of motoring clubs all around the world. And so it makes us have an access to more than 80 million motorists all over the world. And so when the FIA president joined the organization 8 years ago, so he made road safety as a key component of this mobility activity. So together with sustainability, and so Formula E is mainly on this topic, but road safety is, let's say, maybe 90% of our activity on mobility. And so we strongly believe, so together with Jean-Todt, that startups in the digital arena may have a great impact on making road safety better, especially in low and middle income countries where most fatalities happen every day. So this is where we stand regarding road safety.
So it's about infrastructure, it's about smart cities, it's about new technologies, autonomous driving, electric mobility, and I think all these technology trends can actually make change happen. And when I look at the topic which we'd like to talk about now, the Formula E, I see very similar issues. So it's about electric mobility, it's about the future of mobility, and so these topics might go hand in hand. And when I look at the new race series, I also see that large or fast-growing startups are engaged and make this change already happen. Yeah. Maybe you can give us an overview about what Formula E is,
yes,
and explain what's happening. So how Formula E is shaping our electrified future.
So maybe not just not to be too dry. So I have a few pictures for you. So I don't know how many people here are familiar with motorsport, so maybe more with Formula One. So I don't know how many of you know what is Formula E.
Has somebody been there before at a race?
No. So basically, so the championship has been created or has been sought after in 2011, and so became a reality in 2013 and launched in reality in 2015. So this is a completely new code of racing. We didn't want to create a kind of eco-friendly Formula One. So this championship is very special in its way of I would say racing, and so dealing with different rules. So for example, so pit stops, tires use available engines are completely different than what we see in Formula One. And so what we also ambition regarding Formula E is to really create a traction between what we see on the track and what we develop for the racing activities and make it possible for the road users every day. And so so yesterday, for example, I had a brief chat with one of my colleagues who is responsible for technical things around Formula E. And so he explained that there is a huge traction from the car manufacturers. And so they are using the Formula E platform to develop the future electric vehicle, which is a bit different in Formula One. So I would say that most of the time, so evolution and technical improvement will take a lot of time to come in the real life. It's completely different in Formula E, and so you will see some figures regarding the improvement, the enhancement of the batteries, which is huge at the moment, and that will have a huge impact on the consumer perception of electric vehicle.
What I think is outstanding is, and I want to point it out, it's city streets. So it's really very close to the audience, and you can really experience a race in a different way than at any track outside. And then the technology aspect to it is very interesting as well, because you're developing new standards, new technology, which then could be implemented into future cars as well. And in a speed of innovation, which probably is also new to the race series itself.
Yes, absolutely. So City Street is fundamental in the Formula E project. I mean, it's really at the basis of the development of this championship. So I think that since the beginning of Formula E championship, they have visited more than 20 or 25 different cities in the world. So this year we will be in South America, in Asia, in Europe, and also in America, which is completely different than what we experience in other series. And so when we talk about the footprint, it's also worth to say that this is really at the city center of the city that we visit. So
let's talk about the car. So
yeah.
what's inside? And like if you're there, it's really as exciting as a Formula One race. The cars are super fast, and so I think you brought a picture about the technology. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of, I think that the good mix of Formula One is because so we want something to be fun and to bring a lot of performance, and at the same time make people think that electric vehicle is something concrete that they can use every day. And so this is this mix of, I would say, social impact and as well as technological things that make it have a positive impact on it. And so if we go through, I would say, the more technological things, so the huge difference between Formula E and the other FIA series is that the car manufacturers and the OEM players only can play on two different areas. For instance, the chassis and the aerodynamics are completely frozen. So tires are the same for every players, every team. And so it makes a huge difference because so the different teams will only be able to improve, to enhance, so what we call powertrains, which is, I would say, for them something critical, and even for the series, for the car series. And so this is where I think the difference stands regarding Formula E.
So the powertrain is the engine, and are the engines placed in the middle as in a Formula E?
Yes, absolutely.
Formula
And batteries are the same as well for all the teams and all the drivers. So as you can see on this slide, so we will experience a huge improvement in 1 year from now, because nowadays the driver have to change their car at the middle of the race, meaning that they will use for every race 2 different cars, And in season 5, so next year, we will experience a huge improvement in the batteries and the available power, which will make them use only one car, so one set of tire. So everything will be completely new. And so this is something basically that you will experience in your own life, daily life. So as you can see on the graphic in yellow, so we also experience some major improvement in the different seasons. So season 5 will be a huge one, but we also have experienced major ones in other seasons. So this is where we believe that Formula E can create a huge impact on, let's say, sustainable mobility as a whole.
And talking about digital mobility and electric cars, I mean, Tesla is one of the first movers, but then when I look at the teams, so that's all the logos of the teams at the Formula E Racing Series, there, especially from a startup perspective, there are 2 points which stand out, which is Next EV, I think a Chinese company who first started with Formula E and now is going to introduce a series car which everybody can buy, as well as Faraday Future, who also very much engaged with Formula E and now at CES introduced their first car. Yeah. So these are the Tesla rivals, the fast followers. But they have, I think, tremendous budgets behind and a very powerful network. And then I see I think the change makers, the large companies like Jaguar, Renault, Audi, who are already, of course, leading in automobile and now adapting it. How do these teams different? How are they different when you look at the development?
So that's pretty interesting the way that this championship has evolved over the years. Because initially, when you look at the different teams that are inside the season 3, which is the season that we have now, so only Renault is clearly a car manufacturer. So the other ones were team where I would say, for example, ABT is supported by Audi, but it's not a car manufacturer team. And nowadays, we see that there is a lot of traction inside the car manufacturers world. So Jaguar joined this year, and so we will have Mercedes, BMW that will be joining very soon. And so we know that so this championship will be kind of showcase for all of these brands and car manufacturers. But we believe that the innovative companies like Faraday, like Next EV, as you said, will remain huge competitors in that space. And so that's why we are, so this is, I would say, our pride to have this mix of big players as well as innovative companies in the same arena.
And I mean, besides the cars and the technology itself, it's also a change of infrastructure and smart cities.
Yeah.
When you look at the Formula E Racing Series, what future perspective do you see, and how's the impact on smart cities? And I learned that you are also doing an initiative in that perspective. So it's not only the cars, but also the infrastructure.
So basically, just to go through very quickly on this slide, which is about the perception of the consumer. So we made, so with the support of a major consultancy firm at the beginning of Formula E, kind of market research to know what is the impact of this championship on the electric vehicle market. And so interestingly, so this firm has confirmed that over 25 years, so Formula E will have a major impact on commercial environment of car manufacturers in electrical vehicle. And so this will make huge difference, obviously, on emissions and also on cost saving regarding healthcare. So regarding, so we are in a digital world, and so maybe just one word regarding how Formula is as well engaging with fans, which is very innovative in a sense in that area. So for instance, this year they will be launching Robo Race, which is a fully autonomous car, so racing before the human race, I would say. And so they are developing the concept as they are working. And so they have also developed what they call e-race. So they are engaging with fans who will be competing with their favorite drivers, doing the best lap, and then if they are at the top, they will be able to join the grid before the race. So in terms of digital engagement, they also have developed what they call a fan boost. So the best driver or the favorite driver will get a boost in terms of energy that he will be able to use during the race and have an advantage regarding the other competitors. So we at an FIA level, so we would like to use Formula E as a platform to engage with the leaders to promote sustainability in cities. And so we will be launching this year what we call smart cities, which will be based on 3 different topics. So one is a forum where we will gather high-level speakers. So meaning, for example, in Mexico, we will have the mayor of Mexico, the Secretary General of Mobility of Mexico. In Berlin, we will have the Prince Albert of Monaco and the mayor of Montreal in Montreal. So together with mobility experts from NGOs, international organizations, as well as some of our experts. And so this will be completed with award of the best cities, or the cities that have made huge progress on sustainability and mobility as a service or mobility policies, and which could be of interest to the audience today. So we will also be launching together with Digital Leaders Ventures what we call Smart Cities Talents, meaning that we will promote the best ideas, solution, and finally companies which have made, I would say, strong innovation in the mobility space, and especially in road safety, because so this is where the link is between sustainability and road safety.
Exactly. So we'd like to make change happen, and not only talk about road safety and the future of mobility, but actually make it happen. So at this point of time, we can just give you a little glimpse, because the official announcement will be early March at the Geneva Motor Show. But like, not to say enough, it will be a combination of entrepreneurial thinking, startups, and the FIA, and we're excited to be part of that. So we can invite you to join one of the races. There will be, besides the 3 mentioned, there will be a race in Brussels, in Paris, and then on the Formula E website you will find the other dates. So I think it will be a very exciting season, and it's the 3rd season now.
The 3rd season, yeah.
So there's Imagine Formula One in the 3rd season, so we're still a long way to go.
Yeah.
And it's already very exciting. So thank you very much for coming and sharing that.
Thank you for your invitation.